everybody. Welcome to another episode of Peace Luv Biz with me, your host, Steve Higgins, the emotional support human of the group. Today, we are joined by Mary, who is the emotional supportee of the group.
I think that's
Holy, look at me
wow.
using my words
Good for
today.
you.
Yeah,
Did you all grown and everything?
yeah, I growed up.
You growed up.
How are you doing, Mary?
I'm good. Did not think I was gonna have that response this morning at 8 o'clock, but now I have it. I'm good. How are you? Did you get sleep at all?
I think I slept too much. Yeah, it was weird. I passed out, and yeah,
Then that explains a lot from this morning.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it does. This episode's gonna be an interesting one. We've never really told the origin story of Peace Luv Biz, and some stories run a whole lot deeper than just a business plan. So,
Yeah.
in this episode, we're gonna be pulling back the curtain and getting really personable. Personal? Not personable.
Personal.
Personable's completely different. I'm not really feeling that today. No, that's a joke. But today, we're gonna talk about how Mary's lived her life and her 20 plus years of more than me. So you'll hear
Yeah.
about real life, real loss, and real resilience. That's really what's built the foundation for everything we do at Peace Luv Biz. So I'm really just gonna get to ask questions and help guide the story because I have my own story, but it's nowhere near as dramatic, tragic, all of the above.
Nowhere near a lifetime story
Yeah,
series that I have going on.
no, I've got maybe a professional career that could do with some explaining, but that's about it. Which lends itself to what we do, but it's not how it all started. So let's start at the very, very, very beginning. And you've told everybody before about how you bounced checkbooks since you were 7 or 8. So what was life like growing up, and how do you think it shaped how you see the world now? Yeah.
Wow. Life growing up was nothing like today's environment. And it really wasn't like the environment that the people around me had because my family isn't from the United States. My father was born um, in England, raised in Ireland. Um, all my family's from there. So we were raised super conservative, Catholic, Irish. You didn't talk unless you were allowed to. It was just really different. So I studied a lot. Like I turned to books and I loved books. I loved reading and I loved math. And yeah, I found safety in studying.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. I had
And
it.
becoming a nerd.
Yeah, that's the only way you got out, and
Mhm.
it's a nice way of doing it because you could only rely on yourself at that point. You couldn't
Yeah.
rely on your dad to
I mean, the
be.
short version is like my family life sucked. My extended family, like my aunts and uncles and cousins that all lived, across the pond, they were and always have been amazing, hands down. But, there's only so many times you get a relative over. It's like average once a year. There was six of us growing up. And yeah, like it just was not, it wasn't a fun life by any means for the most part, but I just went to books.
Yeah.
That was my thing.
Well, when you were describing your dad and your family life, you've seen the movie Snatch, right?
Don't think I have.
Okay, so it's a classic Guy Ritchie movie. There was Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels first, and then there was Snatch.
Okay. Okay.
There is a, how do I say this without offending everybody? One of the
You
groups
could
that.
tell me and I'll say it and
Oh
offend
no,
everybody because that's usually
no.
the way we do things.
Well, the image that I got in my head when you were talking about your dad was Brad Pitt's character, who is the touring gypsy, and he asks if he likes dags and talks about his mum's caravan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that that was the image I got.
Yeah.
But obviously you've brought yourself out of it, and was there a moment where you realized that you'd have to be your own advocate and you were on your own?
Oh, yeah, I was really young. I mean, so I will say they did do their best for what they were given, how they grew up, because they grew up worse off than I grew up emotionally. Yeah. I realized when I was like 5 and everybody had their job, and my job was doing the laundry. Like we were 8 people. It's a lot of freaking laundry.
That's a lot of
Like that
laundry.
was my job. And I just realized like it wasn't like I could only rely on there wasn't a realization point really. It was just that's the way my life was. Is like you had to be self-sufficient. So it wasn't really like a realization point. It was this is how life is.
That was the Play-Doh of how it molded you into the shape that you are.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It actually, the hard part, it's funny because people will hear this and go, God, that's got to be really hard to only rely on yourself. No, the hard part is being able to rely on others. That's really hard.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's super easy with you, but I mean, we have an amazing, amazing relationship. So it's easy for me, but it's not easy for me to let people in my life. It's not easy for me to rely on people at all. It's very, very difficult.
Well, and we've learned recently that I am a problem with that because I've essentially set so many high standards for everybody else that they kind of come in and it's like, what can I really do to combat this? Um,
Yeah.
so it's yeah, I'm learning to deal
Yeah.
with that. How, with all of this molding of Play-Doh and silly putty and all that, you
Mhm.
went through this journey, but how did it how did it shape your values around money, stability, and later onto business?
So for me, I realized that the only thing that you can make sure for me that I have stability wise is outside of myself. I can only rely on myself. Like now it's changed. Like I do have a small circle of people I rely on. Is financial, is being responsible financially. And yeah, we have debt and yada, yada, yada. That exists, but not to the point of like, we're homeless or we're this or we're that. And for me, it was really important because I could only depend on books when I was a kid. And then, there was the harsh realization at 8 when I graduated high school, I was on my own. Like,
Uh-huh.
bye bye, figure it out. So all that kind of molded me into okay, well, there are no guarantees in life. You can know me. I know I'm going to pull out of anything. And then I know that I have the capacity to ensure through hard work, through studying, that I can build a life for myself, which then turned into, oh my God, I can do this for other people. So you may not be able to control, you can't control a lot of things. And that's just really the point in life is there's a lot of things you can't control, but you can control what you do, what you want to do, how you make your money, and put it into, for the most part, and put it to securing yourself. And that was really important for me.
Yeah. Well, and you had to put the investment in yourself. You had to put the time into yourself. Back in England, college is easy to get into because it's state funded. Yeah, there's loans, but they're nothing compared to what it is over here. So
Right.
you've got a million degrees, or sorry, 1,000,001 degrees lately. Because Mary's going through a doctorate right now, is it?
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a year left. Basically, I have to reach chapter four.
Yeah. So you've got a lot of degrees. How did you get into college? Like, what did you have to do? What was that process like for you? Because you had to scrape and fight for everything. You
So
made it happen.
not many people know this. I first went to community college after high school, and my first class, so I always wanted to be an accountant. I don't know what happened, but I had left, moved out my own, had my apartment, whatever. And I signed up for one class, and it was psychology. And I thought, I want to be a psychologist.
I remember this
And
story.
I went into this classroom and like however long it was, 45 minutes, whatever. And I left and I never went back. I was like, I cannot be a psychologist. We've covered that topic on Tuesday. Why are you back in my office on Friday with the same drama? That would be my response. If I became a psychologist, I would be broke. I would have no money. I would be homeless. There's no way. I would have no client base. None.
Well,
And then, so then I had three jobs at the time, um, which now I have one, but I still work the equivalent of the same amount of hours. But ironically, and so I met my now ex-husband, but I met him and got married, and I was married to him for 5 years when I went, oh, I'm going to go to school and get my degree. And I had already been doing the accounting work. So I went and I enrolled in a private school and I worked two jobs and went to school full time as well and got that degree. And then went, well, I should get my master's. And I I was pregnant and worked, I don't know, like 60 hours a week and did my master's. And I delivered my final paper, spell checking it on the way to the hospital to deliver AJ. Yeah. And then I don't know how many years later, 2 years later, maybe 3 years later, I got divorced from my then husband, my first husband. And I went, oh, like anytime something hugely tragic happens in my life, I make a huge decision. And I went, oh, I should go and get my doctorate. That's my education story.
I mean, I
I
resonate.
handle crisis by going to school. That's how I handle crisis. I handle crisis by working and studying.
Well,
I just realized that, by the way.
I guess this is where I'll tell mine because
Mhm.
mine's kind of unique in a way because I was the smartest kid in high school, whatever it was. I had the paper to prove it from the government saying you are in the top 1% of all students in the country. That piece of paper was the biggest detriment to me that I could have ever received because I got so complacent that when I went to the equivalent of community college, I didn't bother going to class. I didn't study. I spent most of my time in the pool hall, and I wasn't even hustling. That's how stupid I was. I was good at pool. I wasn't even hustling. I was just playing. So
Mhm.
I got through 2 years of that, got
Mhm.
average grades. I got C's and I think I got a B, C, and a D. And
Mhm.
I had an option to either stay local, go to college there, or I could go away to voted the worst place in the UK and go to school there, away from home, away from everybody, and I was just gonna do it. But thankfully, my dad caught me. He was pissed about my grades, and he said either you go back to school, go back to community college
Mhm.
for 1 year and do your 2 years in one,
Damn.
or you're out of my house and you won't be
Damn.
supported, all of that. It was the hardest year I've been through because I was doing 4 classes, doubled up, so basically 8 classes in 1 year,
Yeah.
and the schedule was ridiculous. I just had one job at the time then,
So you were like me, forced to, but you were me. That's probably why we connect so
but
so many
I
levels.
got
But yeah,
lucky that my dad gave a shit because
I mean,
yeah. I mean, without him, I wouldn't be here. But I didn't learn economics. I was learning accounting in my first community college section, but I was coasting through it. The second time I did
you
accounting,
mean you
I did
didn't
economics.
self-teach yourself off of QuickBooks?
No,
What?
no. Imagine that, right?
Sorry, I had to. I
Yeah.
heard it so much.
I oh gosh, I almost got the pin pant strong. But that really taught me about organization, dedicating a craft because studying is a craft.
Mhm.
It if you do school the right way, you get way more out of it, but you've got to be dedicated to it. So from then, I got the degrees. I think I got A's and B's at the community college. Got to my local college where it was university, and I started to fall in bad habits there. But again, pulled myself back out of it. Got the degree in accounting and economics, but I was working 3 jobs. I was working the restaurant, the bank, and the nightclub. And, I still talk to a lot of people from college today, like, but that was a challenging 4 years between because community college in England starts at 16 to 18
Okay.
typically, and then you get 3 years of real college, or in the UK it'd be university. You're normally done by 21. I got
Mhm.
done at 22 because I did the extra year. So yeah, it's
It's funny you talked about your grades. So I taught at university accounting and then everything else with it, economics and business math and whatever. I will never forget after the first class doing grades at midterm, walking into my dean's office going, "Oh my God, you're gonna fire me." And he was like, "Why?" And I said, like, I don't know, I had like 30 students, I'll say, because it was a private school. And out of 30 people, I only had like 3 A's at that point. And he was like, "Oh." okay, what's the problem? And I was like, doesn't everybody get A's? And he's like, you don't give A's. And I'm like, no, I'm not giving anything. How do you get? I said, I understand a couple B's, but how do people get C's and D's? That can't be real. And he went, what are you talking about? And he pulled out like my employment folder. He goes, oh, you don't get it. You've always got A's. Like I had one B and it was in tax the second year in my bachelor's degree. I
Yeah.
got a B because I think I was pregnant with Alexis then. And my brain cells were like, I killed 4 car batteries. Like when I was pregnant, yeah, I can't, yeah, it does not work. It's way worse than what you ever could imagine. And I got a B. And I've never gotten anything but A's.
Well,
So I didn't know people don't get A's. I thought everybody got A's.
in England, it's
Literally.
different because they actually have a decent school system in England. So, you know, we don't
Yeah.
we don't grade on a curve.
Well, I mean, I was born in 1974, so we didn't have curves when I was in school, nor did we have 4.0 was the highest you got. 4.0 was the best. 4.0 now is not the best. So when I say I have a 4.0, it was from I was born in 1974. 4.0 was the best.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I had no idea that people didn't get A's. Like in my head, how do you not get an A? Like you just know the information because you study.
Obviously, you worked for other accounting firms. You worked for Ritz-Carlton. You worked for the logistics moving company. All of that.
Marriott, Bank of America, universities.
Uh, You mentioned Alexis and AJ.
I did.
What?
They've killed my brain cells
Yeah.
pregnant with them. How I did a degree, I don't know.
Well, you've got nothing else to do for 9 months, so it makes sense.
Mhm.
It's not like you had to work and do other stuff. So, what was the moment that everything changed, where you knew you'd have to take a different path?
You mean when they were alive or after they died?
Well,
Because
when
those are two different paths. There was 2 times I had to change my path.
let's start at the beginning, the first one then. Like, because obviously there was a journey while they were still with you, and you had
Yeah.
to.
So I like, and she was in like third or fourth grade, and she was having her seizures were really, really increasing. So were his, but they were still in physical school. And in 20, I want to say 2015, I realized when we went to enroll them into another school, the school's like, "Oh, we can't take them. That's way too many seizures. You'd need a private nurse with them all the time."
Mm.
And it just didn't register because I had dealt with their seizures. I mean, they would, in their lifetime, they each had more than 50,000 seizures. And I say that very casually, but it was normal for me. When the school said that, I really thought, like, oh, it's the school is being difficult. And I talked to the doctor, and he knew me for years and years and years. And he finally was just like, Mary, this isn't normal. It's your normal, but it's not normal.
Oh my
And I was
gosh.
like, what? Like it was so normal for me. I just like A's. Like I figured, oh, you just deal with it.
Yeah.
And that's the point where I started, I started working from home and building my business and doing all the things. And at that point I knew I had to be at home all the time. They were schooling from home. Everything in 2015, everything just kind of I rarely leave my house now, but so COVID happened and that was easy because I never left my house for 4.5 years prior to COVID. Going to the grocery store was like a big, excitement trip. It was like going to Disney World for me. So that was the first big change for me.
Well, and
Mhm.
and the doctor sounded just like you do. Like, and I know that you were the one that said the words, but like the candor, it's like Mary, bam, just like
Yeah, and
super.
we did have that
You
candor
had to
when
have
we would
that. Yeah.
he kn- I mean he like we would have hospital stays obviously and he knew that like I would wake up. I mean I never slept ever when they were alive. And so he would walk in at like 4:30 in the morning. I was his first person that he stopped, and he would walk in, coffee, and him and I would just shoot the shit, and he'd tell me how he did his research and he still didn't find anything else. And basically it was hopeless. And I never found, I mean, I don't want to say I didn't have hope. I just knew. And unfortunately, when I have my gut feeling, I don't think I've ever been wrong on my gut. I would love to be wrong on my gut. I would love it, love it, love it, love it. I'm not.
Yeah, I just keep proving you
But yeah,
right.
he did have that candor with me and he
Yeah.
knew it. So
But that was huge for you. Like you needed that. It's
I
kind of a
did.
slap and like it's a cold bucket of water in your face. Like,
Mhm.
but it's what you need. But you said it. Obviously, that's what led you to starting offering your services rather than your services to a company. You were offering them as your entity, like
Yeah.
to your clients.
And it really proves that anybody is capable of change. Because honestly, my personality, don't. I typically would not like change. However, I've learned because of the life I've had and the journey I've had that change is just going to happen. So just embrace it. So I'd rather just jump into the change and go with it. But I always wanted to be corporate America. Always. That was my dream.
Same.
Corner office, 20th floor, the whole thing, and here I am. And I love our job. I love our business. I love what we do. I'm very happy with it. But it became this. So whatever you're faced with, yeah, you may not like it, but then look at what you can do with it, I guess is my point.
Yeah. And yeah, I had the same kind of dream. It's like, yeah, I want to be a big hotshot with a boatload of money. I just want to, you know.
But we're still gonna have a
Oh
boatload
yeah,
of money. We're just not in the tower with the, I mean, maybe our condo is at some point, but
yeah, some point. But
you know,
yeah,
yeah.
I always saw myself working for somebody else, not myself and ourselves. Like that was more of my point. So,
And that took you an adjustment,
well, yeah, I
you
mean,
being the boss.
yeah, you're gonna have to deal with it. So you've changed me, and you've changed other people that we're seeing the transformation of some people, and it's fun and
Mhm.
incredible at the same time. All right, let's talk about the second time that the path was diverted.
Yeah. So the path has changed a couple times even after their deaths because so Alexis died, and that it was unexpected and expected. We knew she didn't have a long to live, but the way I found her was unexpected.
Yeah.
So that definitely changed everything. And it's important. Well, it's important for me to know. Maybe nobody cares. Maybe a lot of people care, but when I found my daughter and she had passed, my son was in the other room having had seizures for 6 hours straight. So, like, at that point, you're like, I go into autopilot. That's why some people go, oh, it's not professional or it's not. No, it's not that it's not professional. It's not emotional, my responses. A lot of my responses seem very curt. They don't seem, emotional and I love you. I love you. They're not lovey dovey messages. It's business because that's my safe space.
Well,
And
and
when you find your child, sorry, TMI for anybody listening, when you walk in and find your child dead in bed from having a seizure while your other child's having 6 hours worth, you're either going to be in a corner in a ball or you man up and get shit done. And I manned up and got shit done.
well, and
So when
correct
I
me,
go, hey, yada, 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 it's that.
correct me if I'm wrong, but the police didn't exactly help you with Alexis, did they?
No, I mean, it would be easier to list the officers that weren't in my home. I had to get her epileptologist on the phone, like to tell them I did not murder my child because they could not understand that you can die from epilepsy, from a seizure. They had no idea. They did not believe me. And my son is laying on the couch post sickle from 6 hours of seizures.
Yeah. Which it's just you were going through
I have an
enough.
entire pharmacy in
Yeah.
my cabinet, but I had each year of their life with a binder like this of all the medical, and I'm showing it to them, and they're just like,
And
so
then
that was, but then the same week, they put my son in hospice and told me my son will die too. My son, who's 18 months, 20 months younger than his sister, or 22 months.
yeah.
2 months younger and died 22 months after because my kids love to keep things exact
Yeah.
and balanced. Yes, so that same week. So yeah, you go into autopilot. I did. That's how I'm standing. And that's just the two kids. That's
Yeah.
not all the other stuff.
Well,
So at that point, I had to then go, okay, I've got to even be more present and take care of him because now I know what I'm walking into
doesn't
because
make it
I've already been
easier.
through it. It doesn't, but that you're actually like for me, I then it didn't make it easier, but I at least knew what to do planning wise. And so again, strategy and organization and that kind of in a weird way, it kind of calmed my nerves that I could at least plan this as much as I could.
I get that.
And then he passed away and I had no kids. And that was really, really weird.
Well, and you know, it yeah. How did you pull yourself through? You said you went on autopilot. You buried yourself in work essentially. Like I didn't know you when Alexis passed, but I did when AJ, but you weren't telling anybody.
No, I didn't tell anybody
Anybody.
that I worked with.
Which is very relevant for now because you just cocooned for 4 weeks or so,
Hmm.
and people see the signs a little better now, and they'll at least check in and be like, "Hey, are you good? What's going on? Are you good?" Like, so yeah. Tell how did you push through it? How did you, what
Well,
was?
I kind of go back to that 7-year-old self of me
Uh,
and go, Mary, you know that you can do this. I mean, even when I have my moments, what do you go, Mary? You're a fucking rock star. You got this. Like you scream it at me,
yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I can do anything. And
I
when
unfortunately,
AJ passed, I thought, if I can get through one, I can get through two.
yeah,
I
and
can do it.
you are somebody that you can say to that you've literally been through worse.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes you have to say it. But one of the questions I got listed was kind of stupid, and it's not as self-serving as as you're gonna make it. But
Okay.
this one says, "Who is someone in your life that gave you the push or permission to think bigger?" And yeah, like use what?
I
Okay,
give you
let's.
tons of credit
You give me
all day
more
long and
credit
you
than I
don't
should
like
get.
it, but no,
Well,
you're wrong.
the let's flip it a little bit, because yeah,
Do you like that? Nope, you're wrong.
look how uncomfortable I am. But no,
Mhm.
like, so let's think about this another way. So you were operating your own business,
Yeah.
really. You were, when did you really jump into RCV? Because you were,
April 2019.
yeah, I know the date, but
What was happening?
yeah, what was the trigger to launch your own business at that point?
Okay, so I had it my own business, but it was just kind of like more paper than anything else. I was married at the time when my kids passed, and I had a very toxic, horrible relationship with this person. And my son had passed, and the way that that person responded was horrible. Isn't
Horrific.
horrible doesn't even begin to describe
And I can
the
vouch for it.
response. My son died on a Saturday morning, and Sunday afternoon I was in bed, and the person walked in and went, "Hey, I booked massages and let's go to the movies. Now that we don't have kids anymore, we don't have to deal with the kids anymore. We can start doing stuff." It wasn't, "Hey, I did this so that you could relax and take your mind off of it." So, little backstory on that. And so one day I woke up and I went, "Oh my God, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this." And I left. And I do that. Like when I get to my point, I just leave, which we all know, or you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because when that person died 3 years later, no,
Yeah. Well,
2023.
it was 10 months ago.
Yeah,
No,
was
she
it?
died 10 months ago.
That's right. Sorry, you left. You left
Yeah, I left.
2023. Yeah, it
But
was.
I mean, I left the person in 2018 and just started diving into my own building my own business. I am a person that has always looked for like the fairy tale thing. So, yes, I got back together with the person and it was stupid
And
to do so.
I was the best man, which is I'm 0 for
Yeah, you
2 on
were.
being a best man, by the way. So don't ask me to be a best man.
I won't. Um, because I don't plan on doing that ever again, the
Yeah,
marriage part. And then I left. Then I mean, I checked out. We got remarried in 2020. And like a month later, I had mentally checked out, like, and physically. Like I went into the other bedroom. I was done. It was not, my hopes and dreams were bigger than reality. And that's when I dove back into work because that's what I do. Anytime some emotional, massive trauma happens, I jump into work.
yeah. Well, and you talk about love and devotion and peace in everything that we do, and you always had the
Mhm.
moniker of peace, love, and accounting.
Mhm.
and you were operating as Roach Capital Ventures. Then I come along, and everything kind of changed because I saw
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
there was a lot of stuff that needed a change. We needed a rebrand. We needed a refresh because everybody thought we were a venture capitalist firm. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, to be fair or to be transparent, I had been trying to do that from, so you came along, we got together last September. We're approaching our 1 year doing this together. And I had been trying to do that since like the February before. And I just kept hitting blocks with anybody that was working for,
yeah.
and I explained everything to you, and then it took off like because I had you, and then you and I just took over. So like Roach Capital was like treading water, and then you came along and it was like let's do this, and here we are.
A gas on it essentially.
And people did not like, it's so funny when you change and when you grow and when you get better, people either love it and support you or go fuck you, I don't like this, and criticize you to death. And there were people that really hated
Me.
you and I working together because,
Me. Yeah, they hated me.
well, they did, but they hated me too because they were like you do give me the support that I need, and they were like, shit, she's not taking any crap. But because I know I have you, and you know you have me.
And Peace Luv Biz, because I don't, you heard it, I studied accounting, but I don't practice it. That's
Hmm.
Mary. Mary's the one that does the accounting. So that's why we rebranded to Peace Luv Biz because it's more holistic. It's full business,
Hmm.
services, strategy, everything. But the care, the security, essentially, of having Mary and our team is really where that peace and love comes into it for your business. Like, that's kind of the idea. So, when you think about where you've been and what we're building now, what makes you the most proud?
Most proud with clients, um, because we've had there's always, people that don't match. And this week, I went into my cocoon for 4 weeks. Weirdly enough, I'm back on the one of the hardest weeks of my life, and I've been working like 15 to 18 hours a day up till midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning working. And my clients know I'm working because they'll email and I'll respond back. So then they'll text me. And then we're video chatting and doing business crap at 11:30 at night. And I just love that. I've also had clients reach out to me this week and go, "Hey, you've been really quiet. Um, are you okay? I know how you are. I know you get really quiet when you're struggling." And that says a lot. That like I've had about four of them this week, and the first one made me break down in tears. He said I needed tissues, and I have them, but the first client that did that really, I started crying. I couldn't believe it, and
And
it does make me proud that um the care and the relationship that we do build, because we do have a couple jack-offs that just don't get it because they're too in their way. So it was really amazing to be like hearing from a client going, hey, I really need this, but I know something's up.
and that's the best thing is knowing that you've got good people that you work with, work for.
Yeah.
We've built a really good group. Yeah, there's a couple of bad eggs, but they will see themselves out and
Yeah.
will be better for it. And it's
I
wild
mean,
to think.
literally, one of the longest client, the person that's been around the longest, I didn't have a chance to tell you this, texts me at like 11 last night. It was like, if you're up, and he has my personal number. He was like, if you're up, respond. If you're asleep, respond in the morning. Want to make sure that you're still okay. He's like, I know you always bounce back. And we talked last night at like 11:30. But yeah.
I wondered why I was actually sleeping through.
Yeah. No, he like 11:30 at night. And I was just like, yeah, no, I'm good, but blah blah blah. But I mean, that just says volumes about the way we are with our people and the way we approach. And it's not just in our business. Like this, we live and breathe this.
Yeah.
Like you were on vacation and you missed it. You missed it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think this is my happy space.
It is, yeah.
That's even funnier since I just watched Happy Gilmore too. So yeah, happy place. Happy
Yeah.
place. I think a lot of this, while it's the origin story, while it's how we came to be, how you've developed, I want to put this out there as a, you guys think you guys have it bad. You ain't seen nothing. And if you think that your accounting emergency is a big deal, it really is not. It's a drop in the ocean compared to what could be going on. So take a
Oh, it
breath
is.
and
And
have some grace.
yeah, take a breath. And the other thing is, like, I'm super behind. I've owned that. And any call I've had, I've owned it. I've been like, yep, super behind, owning it. I'm never behind. So for me to be behind, give me some grace. I'm owning that I'm behind. I'm owning that I'm late. It's okay.
Yeah.
And there's things that you can do. That you can like check your refund status all by yourself.
Yeah. It's
Like there are things. Unless
no.
your house is getting repossessed at the present or taken over by the bank or your car getting repossessed because somehow that's my fault. There's nobody's dying and nobody's even dying in those instances. But it's okay.
I think so.
And I promise you this, out of the however many hundred people that we have in our client base, I guarantee they're going to have way more moments over not life and death situations than I've ever had over my truly life and death situations. And you know what? I will always and always have given grace to that because my story is not normal.
Oh,
And we've only discussed two children dying.
yeah.
That's it. People, I have like 14 deaths, significant deaths in 10 years. They just kept happening.
We
So, like, it's okay. It's okay. I get it.
I said
Life
it
is hard.
yesterday. I said you're gonna outlive me just out of spite. That's looking like a reality. Gosh, I hope
And
it's
what
not.
was my response? Because I'm so dark humored,
It's
and
already
well, we
happened.
are very dark humored. I said, well, it's already happened. I've already outlived everything.
Yeah. So, final thoughts?
Final thoughts is this is just like some sprinkle of how this all started,
Yeah.
but it gives you kind of a basis. It kind of gets you to know me a little bit more. I think that's important for people to understand how I'm made up, what makes Mary Mary.
Well, you've built this business with love because you've lived through what it feels like to have none of it. No clarity,
Oh, that's
no
perfect.
direction, no plan, no peace.
Yeah.
So,
No.
my shout out to everybody else is if Mary's story resonated with you, it's because we see you. Like, so reach out to us, schedule a meeting. We can help write your next chapter with structure, strategy, and support. And I guess until next time, everybody, go to peacelovebizz.com. We'll see you there, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.